Hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
What's happening?
Hey, Ezra, your office looks a little strange.
I know. It's Josh's car. Check it out. It's
Oh, it
a
looks
it's a
fast.
Honda something. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm just holding on to my life, because he's driving. Well, not at the moment, obviously. He's not in the car, but luckily I made it.
Good.
I
Good.
didn't know if I'd make it alive.
That's awesome. We're glad you're here, and we have plenty with us as well from FLP. But I think you're going to kick everything off, Ezra. So the football's
Yeah,
there.
I
Give it a
mean,
whack.
Joel, we've talked about this quite a bit, but again, I think we need to keep talking about it because, first of all, it's almost too good to be true. So I think a lot of people are kind of listening but saying, yeah, whatever. But second of all, I think we really need to raise awareness, about this offering, this product, and what I think is an essential tool for every retailer to offer at their store. And Joel, maybe the recording, you can add the drum rolls, but the big news that we are going to announce in this webinar is the fact that you can now offer FLP on your website if you're running Corefire or Coreforce. So basically, I think the webinar's over. I just gave it away. I took all the thunder away from Plenty, but I'm just kidding.
We should have really quickly done Ezra's part, where hey, click of the mouse, you can offer this as register. Take it away, Plenty. But everybody out there waiting, that's what's going to happen. So Ezra's going to go through his little spiel here, and then as soon as he's done, Plenty's going to tell you why this is going to be a great thing to offer right there at the register. I think we lost him.
It's a cool thing that we've been working on for quite a while. So I don't want to steal Ezra's thunder, but I can get into the deets a little bit.
Yeah, but just to fill a little bit of time, if you guys, I know that there are probably some dealers out there that have a relationship with other companies that offer this type service, and the difference is that you're having to have them go home, read over your material or take a class there at the place. I mean, it's not immediate. So what this is it's immediate. I mean, it's right there at the register, as they're purchasing their gun or knife or whatever, their mace, whatever it is, you can immediately be covered walking out of the store. So I think that's the difference. That's one of the main differences. And there's a plethora of other differences, obviously plenty, but to me, that's the main one. That's what kind of highlights our relationship, is the fact that you can literally do it right there at the register. And this is not costing you anything for you out there that are stocking this product in the system. It's not costing. There's no overhead. All it is a click of a mouse. You're increasing your bottom line, and you're protecting your customers as they walk out the door. So
and I want to kind of discuss how that relates to just FLP's DNA as a company. So we are not the latest one on the market. There are lots of little companies popping up all over the place offering some sort of legal protection. There are some that can only do it in a certain state. There are some that promise things that sound a little bit too good to be true. There are some that we know are operating illegally because it's pretty difficult to set all this stuff up. But we come at this from a perspective of there were a few major players in this market who went two very distinct directions in terms of this is bundled with training or it's not. And our perspective is that we're not a law firm and we're not a training company. We're here to empower dealers, instructors, and everybody who supports anything related to the firearms industry. And so that lets us sit back a little bit and say, okay, based on whoever's out there in the market, what did they do right? Let's take that and let's build on it and make it better. And who had an epic fail and did something really wrong, and how can we fix that, and how can we deliver it in a better way? And I think this implementation that we're about to talk about is truly a way of delivering our product and our service and what we can provide in a better way that is an absolute win for the dealer, for the facility, not just the end user, because that's great no matter how they get it. But when we can streamline this and make it more profitable for the dealer, easier to implement, and just already built in, it's not something that you have to stock or inventory, it's just going to make it that much better for everybody.
Right.
But that's the overview. But Ezra, I guess let's hear it from your end, man.
No. I think you're doing good. And at the rate that I'm going, I mean, I just wanted to maybe get back on and say hi and bye to everyone. Pliny, you're the more important person here. Joel, I am sending you a link so you can, when the time is right, you can show off how we show FLP on the website.
Okay.
So I'll shoot you over that link. But I think at this point, you know, and I apologize, literally my computer was in the car and apparently the sun was beaming down and it heated up. So I overheated apparently. So, but just so we don't waste everyone's time, I think it's best we let Firearms Legal Protection take over and tell all of our customers, and any of you who are not customers, it's still a tremendous value proposition, and it's a reason for you to become a customer, because there is no other system that makes it this easy to sell a product that every consumer in this industry should have. It is so important in today's day and age, with all of the litigation and all of the politics going on. And Pliny, you can probably share some stories of actual incidents that are occurring when you are involved in a shooting. Obviously, nobody wants to be, but that's the reason typically why you're purchasing a firearm, is for your own protection. But what do you do for your legal protection? And you don't want to wait till after the fact. And that's the beauty of this, is every retailer can be selling a consumer product that it's a no-brainer sale. And we make it a no-brainer. We make it as easy as going to Best Buy and them asking you, do you want the warranty on this? Right? And if you're buying a washing machine and dryer,
Yep.
you are buying that warranty, right? I mean, I don't buy it when I go buy, you know, a little USB stick or something, right? They ask me and I'm like,
Right.
Seriously? I don't even buy it when I buy a tablet. Tablets don't really break, or, you know, typically, unless I throw them around the room. But when I'm
Right.
buying that TV, that expensive TV, or I'm buying that washing machine and dryer, heck yeah, every single time I'm going to say yes. Well, imagine you as a consumer who is either has taken a class, right? You just took a class at a store, or you just bought a gun, or you're online and you're buying a gun. And being able to purchase with that the protection that you need from a legal standpoint, and in some states it's actually considered as insurance, and again, this is where my knowledge stops and I get dangerous, but you're literally protecting yourself as a consumer. So for me, convincing a consumer to buy this it's literally a no-brainer, and every consumer should have this product. And there are other products out there, but there is no other product like FLP, and there is no other product that can be sold as easy as FLP to your consumer by just adding it to their shopping cart or adding it to their sale at the store.
Right.
So I am going to depart at this point and leave this in the hands of the experts, but thanks everyone for joining, and we're super excited about this.
Awesome. Hey, Ezra, leave your browser open. Mute and turn your camera off, but leave that browser open.
I will.
Hey, and for
I'm
those
going
of
to
you
turn
that
my
may not,
camera and mute so you don't hear all the background.
okay, that's true. Plenty. This is like a no-brainer for our customers who run the gun store, the gun range, to be able to offer this product right from the register.
Absolutely. And that buying experience, I think everybody in the industry is seeing that the purchase experience is just so incredibly important, that we're not just an industry where we just schlep widgets to people and just, somebody asks for something and we provide exactly what they need. Everybody in this industry is kind of becoming a guide. That's like, okay, you're buying a gun. Well, what are you doing with it? How do you want to use it? How do you carry? How do you train? We're in the position where we're trying to play matchmaker with people's specific needs and requirements to gear, equipment, ammunition, skills, tactics, everything that you need. And that counter experience is a critical part of that. And so that's why I'm really excited about this integration, because it gives dealers and anybody at the register an opportunity to sell this product when people are in that buying experience, not through some banner ad that they see later or some YouTube pre-roll video that's trying to just scare people. Some of our competition has done a little bit of that. That's very fear-mongering, feels very invasive, and nothing they say is wrong. It's just they have to get people's attention so quickly in those platforms because they don't already have it. But when you're already in the store at the register, that attention, that trust is already there. And that makes this the perfect sales opportunity for a service like Firearms Legal Protection. And kind of like what Ezra was saying, there are so many stories and a lot of really sad ones of people who have truly done the right thing in protecting themselves, protecting their loved ones, doing what they believe is absolutely necessary, and then they get hit with a lawsuit or they get arrested even though they feel like they've done everything right and they don't have a plan. They don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have anybody to come bail them out, or they don't have money set aside for bail. So firearms legal protection is really a necessary thing for anybody who would use a firearm or any other legal weapon. And we always say weapon in our stuff. And I know we get a lot of comments of say firearm, don't say weapon. But it's the reason we say that is because we truly cover any weapon that's legal to own or possess. If you use a frying pan to defend yourself, a golf club. In Michigan, a flamethrower is legal. So that's the one I always go to. If somebody needs to get toasted and you do it in defense of yourself or others, we're going to cover it. So with that, we provide a 24/7, it's open all the time, doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. on Christmas, 24/7 emergency attorney answered hotline. And that attorney answered part of that is really important because it means the second you call that hotline, you immediately have attorney-client confidentiality. Those call records can't be subpoenaed, it can't be discovered, can't be used as evidence. If you say something in a frantic moment, some of our competitors aren't set up that way. Your call is going into a call center. Those records can be audited, and those records can be brought into court. So we want to make sure that when you're selling this, you're selling something that you're selling trust, basically. And so that we're offering you to help provide your customers and your audience with a support network. And you're selling that trust that we can back up through things like immediate attorney-client confidentiality.
And Plenty, I know, we were talking on the run up to this webinar, and you were kind of like, I'm not real comfortable. It doesn't seem like we have anything, to share with people. And it's like, you deal with this every day. And what you just said, I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
So your depth and breadth of knowledge, I think you take it for, you don't know the power of it. So I think things like that is a huge selling point, because you think, if I call another service and they just have someone manning the phones, to get in touch with the attorney or whatnot, that's not going to help me any, and whatever I say, they're not legal experts. So being able to go right to that expert at the time that you need them, and to know that everything that you say is confidential and protected, that's huge, man. That's really, really huge. So I know you've got more little gems like that to share. So just share away, man. And I'll tell you, Ezra sent me the, and I honestly, Plenty, he really didn't even need to be here. And if you're listening, Ezra, I'm sorry, but he sent me, and I'll share this. I'll share this in a few minutes, but literally it's just a product. You hit add to cart and it's done. So there's nothing that your customers out there need to worry about. The product's going to be in the system. All they have to do is add it to cart. And I'm sure Ezra and I will get on at another time and go over, or he'll do it, during his regular updates, and go over what that looks like on the back end. But it's probably the same. It's nothing. It's not gonna change the way you do business at all. You're just adding another solution in your system. So, but with that, Plenty, anything else that maybe you're like, oh, that's normal, but back in the back of your head, it's not normal, like the being able to reach an attorney immediately. There's got to be some other little things that other services offer that you guys are completely different. You're within the bounds of the law, and just kind of share away, man.
Yeah, there's something that is especially important to me, and it's a concerning issue in the firearms industry right now, and that's red flag laws. We see it being pushed like crazy. I think right now we're at 19 or 20 states, maybe even 21 now, that have some form of red flag laws. And it's been tried in just about every state right now, and that there are now federal standards for how you should implement these sort of red flag laws. They're encouraging states to do this. And for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it's basically the definitions of who can file this claim vary from state to state, but it's essentially, it's like a restraining order against your own property. And it's saying this person is a potential danger to himself or others. So basically, come take the guns, due process later. And Firearms Legal Protection was the first service that in this, we actually fight against those red flag laws. And a lot of times that happens so fast, you have a very limited period to basically jump in and stop this, or to fight it or appeal it. That's why that immediate contact, if you're served one of these extreme risk protection orders or red flag laws, that's why it's so important to move quickly. And that's something that we actually fight on behalf of all of our members. So most of our service is all related to the incident of a self-defense encounter, should you have to defend yourself with a firearm or anything else. But this is a scary thing that we see in the industry that's going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's kind of one of the few places where we step a little outside of the lines of immediate self-defense, and we say, what is the industry going to need going forward? And how can we protect and better prepare gun owners to be able to handle situations like that, but also provide you, the dealer, a way to be able to sell that protection, to offer that help. And that's important, because so much of this is you're buying a fire extinguisher, right? Hoping that you never need to use it. It's still very valuable. You want to know that it works. You want to know that at a moment's notice, I'm prepared. But this is something that not only for the case of an extreme emergency, if there's one of these red flag laws, extreme risk protection orders, we're also there to help at that point in time. So that's important to me. In my home state of Texas, it's been on the books the last several sessions. It has not passed yet, but they're going to keep trying it until it does. So that's important just all across the country.
Yeah. And I just,
something
while you were talking about that, because I'm going to, if you notice, I'm not always looking at you or the camera or whatnot. Sometimes I'm just out here digging, like we were talking about the red flag log. So I was thinking, how can our customers out there, the viewers, all you have to do is just Google red flag law horror stories, and you'll immediately see why this is very important. I mean, I've heard stories of, like, divorces can be messy sometimes, and sometimes all it takes is the word of somebody to say, hey man, I don't want this person, I think they're a danger to themselves or other. All it is words, right, that can restrict your rights. Now it's a touchy subject. I mean, this may offend a lot of people because they may have seen it from the other side, but the fact is, and again, I always say, freedom is offensive and messy. If you want a free nation, it's going to be offensive and it's going to be messy. You're not going to like it all the time, but I would rather be free, have some dangerous freedom than safe slavery. But if you want to know, I mean, if you're worried about somebody just, throwing a word out there, hey, I think this guy shouldn't have a gun, and then all of a sudden you lose your, you lose all your firearms, you can immediately call, I assume plenty, you can call and immediately again be on the phone with an attorney, and they can kind of guide you through what you need to do, because like Plenty said, you've only got a certain amount of time to act. So you need to, I'm telling you, man, you guys are like the A team. I mean, I'm telling you, just like immediately you're on the job. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. And yeah, our goal is to have our whole network set up to basically scramble the jets as quickly as possible. And that's how we're set up. Something else that I want to kind of bring up about this and the way our product is going to be delivered and served for Firearms Legal Protection and some of our competitors out there. For a while, the number one way that this has been sold has been in classes. Maybe you're going to get your license to carry, or it's some seminar, some lecture, some event, and then there's a pitch at the end of the class. It's all contingent upon an instructor, or sometimes somebody else from one of those companies coming in to sell it. And we recognize that can break that trust a little bit. It can feel a little bit contrived. And we're not saying don't do that, because a lot of those instructors are very good at that, but that's not a one-size-fits-all model. There are so many great retailers out there that are just known for their equipment, their accessories, their advice on, it could be optics, it could be anything related to this industry, that we don't want to feel forced to put it in that perspective. So that's why bringing it into the register allows anybody to be able to sell it, not in just this class situation. And so that changes the compensation and the pricing model a little bit. And I saw some questions on this kind of flying by. So instead of this being a commission-based model that sometimes you'll see these instructors getting, or it's based on a number of classes or a number of students or something like that, this is now more of a consignment type product. Think of it as you have unlimited inventory sitting in your register that now at any moment you can sell. The second you sell that, FLP does all the fulfillment. That order gets immediately packaged up, sent over to FLP. We've got a great customer service team who sees that order come in. They look at that order. They say, okay, what state are you in? What are your benefits for that state? Let's get the right benefits. Let's get your member kit, your member welcome card. Let's get that all buttoned up, packaged out to you. So you don't have to do any fulfillment in store at all, making it as easy as possible. But then as soon as that goes out, it's in the record, it's in the system, and that then gets paid back. Instead of a commission model, you make the sale and you keep that as a consignment basis. So there's immediate margin right there. Instead of it being, oh, I have to log into some special system, I have to go look at my reporting, I have to go find my login that I forgot that password because it was on a sticky note I threw away a month ago. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. No special system. It's just a sale in your register for inventory that you didn't even have to stock.
Guys, mind-blowing. I'm telling you, this is mind-blowing. It's like, you hear Ezra and I say no-brainer a lot for a lot of different things that are really no-brainers, but this absolutely is a no-brainer. I've never even thought about that, Plenty. You know, you've got these people with relationships with these other, service providers, and there's a lot of work on the back end for them to get paid. And with this, it's so seamless. Yeah. It's just in the system. It's just a sale. That's all it is.
And we have those relationships on our end too, and we understand them, and we understand that maybe as a facility you don't necessarily have any alliance or allegiance, and you want to be as open as possible. We get that. And so if you have an instructor who wants to teach a class and wants to do their thing, we'd love if you would present our product. But this gives you an easy way to try it out, see how easy this is. And everything about our business, we've tried to look and see what are the problems and how can we provide a unique solution. I mean, the whole idea of how can we offer legal protection from gun owners, that was because of a problem and because of a need. And it gets very complex. It's nuanced, as you mentioned earlier. In some states, it's a prepaid membership. In some states, it's insurance. So we've figured out all of that stuff. We figured out ways to bastion that. And one of the most powerful things that nobody else had really figured out is great ways to sell it efficiently without having to all of a sudden need to be able to book classes that you can't advertise because Facebook doesn't let you and do all this stuff. It's right there with unlimited product in stock in your store just by turning it on through this system.
Wow. And obviously Ezra is going to go over those details in a later video, probably this week, hopefully. And I don't honestly, Plenty, it may not require anyone turning anything on. It just may be there. I think it's just an inventory product, but from what I've seen, and I'll show you guys, actually, let me do that right now. Guys, please forgive me if this doesn't work, because I've never shared my screen on here. All right, so
yeah, I saw some questions on here kind of flying by about, so if money stays here, how does FLP get paid? So our traditional structure and the traditional structure of other people is when that sale happens, it then is reported up and a commission is paid back. So that's the part that we've streamlined. Instead of saying, let there be a report and then a payback, that money just stays here. Then any future stuff, FLP kind of takes on from that point. So that way there's no lag period. There's nothing like that. It's all immediate. And the margin is a little bit better than traditional commission structures. Plus, you don't have to worry about the fulfillment. To me, I think that's one of the biggest advantages, especially when we're literally different in like so many different states. We've all been over skewed on products where great. I get the idea of the product, and now there's a million variations. The one I think right now is like optics and adapter plates and just how like crazy that world goes. So that's why all the fulfillment is done on our end. So as soon as it gets submitted, we've got a team who will look at all that and just take it from there. And so along with the membership and everything else, we offer the legal support. We run everything from that initial setup, but you get paid immediately on the initial sale.
That's awesome. And if you guys can see, this is what your customer will see. So it's just it's a product like any other. This is going to be available on for CoreForce and CoreFire, and obviously at the register, which I think Ezra will go over when we do our little portion on this. And I think he's probably going to make that it's probably a 30-second snippet, so it's not going to be that important. But for your customers, this is how they would, just basically add it to the cart and check out. And I don't think it can be any simpler than that. I think that, it looks like you've got, the individual premium plan. Maybe, Plenty, you can go over the individual premium plan and kind of explain what that plan that your customers out there, what they'll be offered.
Yeah, so this is where we kind of took a shortcut and went straight to the best offer, right? There's so many people who kind of play around with loss leaders or some promotions that, they're very seasonal. We looked across our entire membership and we basically said, what's the product that sells the best, that offers the most, and is just best for the consumer? And that is our individual premium membership. We do have a basic membership, but it only protects you in your home state and does not come with a lot of these other benefits. So when we wanted to put this together, we said, let's just go straight to the best one. Let's not mess around. Let's keep it simple. We wanted to avoid having too many options. And so just to talk about the pricing just a little bit. So whenever this is sold in class, there is a monthly rate and then there is a startup fee. And that in class is better than what you would ever see on our website. If somebody was to go to Firearms Legal Protection, they're going to be paying quite a bit more monthly for that. So we've already built in that special incentive pricing to this model. So we're not going to compete with our own dealer network. That would be foolish for us to do. So we offer special pricing, and then instead of having it complex and itemized and all these different charges, that $41.90 that you see is just the first month plus the setup fee. And so it's all bundled all into one thing for individual premium. And so with that individual premium, I'm just going to kind of rattle through all these really quick. And then Joel, if you have questions on specific ones, let's hit them. Let's talk about them a little bit. So uncapped legal protection. We talked about that in the teaser. It's as if you had an insurance policy for your car that they said, doesn't matter what the damage is. There's no maximum on anything like that's. At the time when we put that out, it was unheard of. Some of the other companies are now starting to offer unlimited as well. And there's even some tricky language where there are other companies where the individual actually doesn't have unlimited, but the company backing them has unlimited. And so per individual, you can only go so far, but the company or the other way around, the company backing them has a certain cap and threshold of what they can pay out or what they can help with. But there's no cap on the individual, but obviously you're going to hit your head against that.
Right.
So that was important when we set this up to truly have uncapped legal protection for civil and criminal cases. And we pay the attorneys directly. So it's not a reimbursement program of go find your uncle who's an attorney. And then if it meets our standards, we'll pay you back. We want you to win. We want you to win the case as quickly as possible. We pay them directly at their full rate, and we incentivize them to fight for you. So that's the uncapped payment. This extends to all legal weapons, like I mentioned earlier. This also extends to extreme risk protection orders, red flag laws. I mentioned our 24/7 emergency attorney answered hotline. You get the MyFLP mobile app, which everybody has a mobile app these days. Sometimes it's exciting. Sometimes it's just one more thing on your phone getting in your way. But I love using it when I travel. I travel quite a bit. I have a Texas license to carry, and so it's helpful for me when I go to Arkansas, when I go to Tennessee. I recently went up to Colorado. I'm able to check their laws, see if my license is recognized there, see if there's anything else I need to be aware of. Very helpful for that. Of course, you can manage your membership and look at your status, look at your payment history. You can do all that in the mobile app. but it's a very helpful tool. The most recent thing that we added, I guess it was about 9 months ago, to our program is expungement of your criminal record on any non-conviction incidents. So that's while you're an FLP member. It's not anything prior to that. But that's something that a lot of people don't realize is if you're arrested for something, you defend yourself, you defend your family, you defend your home, there's going to be an arrest record, and then FLP pays for the trial attorney, you win the case, but that arrest record is still on there, and that can affect employment applications, it can affect insurance stuff. There's a lot of ways that being on your record is not good. And so we pay attorneys to help basically go clean and mop up that record, just so that if there's not a conviction on there, we don't want it to look like it is. We don't want you to be judged by that or that to in any way harm you. We want you to be as clean and get back to life as quickly and as regularly as possible, getting back to life as normal. So we also offer this protection in all 50 states. So there are some states that we can't sell this in. If you live in New York, unfortunately, we can't sell this to residents of New York. But if you're from Texas, Tennessee, doesn't matter where you're from, if you travel to New York and there is an incident in New York, our defense will cover you there in all 50 states. We also pay bail bond up to $250,000. And so that's the face value of the bail bond. And we work with certified bail bondsmen to get that happening. And a lot of people don't have money set aside for that. Maybe you're saving for a house, you're just saving for retirement, whatever. You don't want to tap into that to get yourself out of jail for something that you think you did that was right. And so that's where we are structured a little bit more like insurance in terms of having things like that. We pay that on your behalf to get you out of jail. We also pay things that you need in your trial in addition to the attorneys. So that could be an expert witness. Firearms Legal Protection will pay up to $10,000 for an expert witness, and a lot of times that's very helpful when you can have an expert witness. Maybe it's somebody who has analyzed lots of self-defense incidents, somebody who's a ballistics expert, somebody who can truly examine the scene and say, hey, I can tell what happened here based on this evidence. That's why this guy was truly defending himself, and that's why this isn't manslaughter or something like that. Those expert witnesses can be very important in a case, and FLP will pay for them. Same thing with private investigators. You may need somebody to go get security footage. You may need somebody to go conduct other interviews. They can be very helpful in winning your case in addition to the attorney. So Firearms Legal Protection will pay up to $10,000 for the private investigator fees too. Something that I think is also important that we offer that one of the other big guys out there does not is the stuff that happens after the case, after the fight. So I think in one of our little promo videos, we talked about the 3 fights, and there's the immediate physical
three-round fight. Yeah.
Yep.
Round. You want to win. Right.
The second round of that fight is I'm defending myself in court. I'm trying to explain this is why I did it. This is why I protected my family. This is why what I did is right. The third fight is a lot of it is mental. A lot of it is emotional. It's what's stuck in your head afterwards. It's what you have to deal with as the ramifications for this. And so Firearms Legal Protection, with this premium membership that we're offering here through this system, we pay counseling support. And if you have to defend yourself or your family, you're going to need somebody to talk to. And so we have a budget set up for anybody who goes to this to pay a licensed therapist or licensed counselor to talk about this to help get you back to life as normal. That's really important in the healing process, and it's important to us. And that's why this is full spectrum coverage. It's not just, yeah, we'll sell you the bullets. We'll sell you the gun. We'll sell you the holster. We want you to be legally prepared. We want you to be financially prepared. We want you to be emotionally prepared. And we've got it all bundled together as a complete system. We also pay lost wages during a trial. So a lot of times it's difficult to just take off work or burn all your PTO to go to a trial for something where, again, you think you did everything right. So if you're out of work for that period, we will pay that lost wages for some time. And one thing that not a lot of people talk about because it gets pretty messy is the incident scene cleanup. If you just had to defend yourself, sometimes it's on public property and there are, I guess, public services set up for this. But if it's in your own home, the coroner doesn't clean up your home, doesn't buy you new carpet. And that's not something that you just want to clean up yourself with Dawn soap and bleach water. That's a biohazard. And so that's something where there are people who clean up biohazard things, messes, and FLP will pay for that to happen too. Because the last thing you want to deal with, if you just had to defend yourself or your family, is cleaning up that guy's blood off your carpet while you're battling the legal battle. So Firearms Legal Protection will handle the incident scene cleanup. Again, we don't do that ourselves, but we work with these special companies who do that. We're contracted with them. We send them out. We get it taken care of as soon as the police basically release the scene so that that's able to happen. And then something that happens that some people know of, some people don't, is a lot of times when you defend yourself with a weapon, that firearm is confiscated for evidence. Sometimes it's very clear that, okay, you defended yourself, we'll give it right back to you. Have a nice day, sir. Most of the time, it's not that smooth. You have to wait for the trial. You have to wait for all these things. And sometimes it can sit in a police evidence locker for months or even years. So if that's the case, if your firearm is confiscated and not returned within a certain amount of time, Firearms Legal Protection will pay you for the fair market value of that firearm. And no, that doesn't include, if you got a custom trigger job, we can't bring that into the fair market value. That's a little hard to diagnose. But we will pay up to $1,000 for the firearm. So a joke that one of our area reps likes to throw around is, if you defended yourself with a Glock, we'll buy you a brand new Glock that day. If you defended yourself with a Wilson Combat, we'll buy you a new set of grips. But we'll pay you up to $1,000 for the fair market value of that firearm. And that's something that a lot of people don't include in this coverage. And again, that's why this isn't just the self-defense, it's a complete picture.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they hear this, like Firearms Legal Protection or, some of the other services out there, they immediately think, okay, this is going to help me in court. And they don't think, at the moment when it happens, you need to be on the phone with an attorney. They don't think about what happens when you're acquitted or, you're found innocent or whatever. They don't think about all those things. And I think a lot of people, because I've seen our attendance kind of rise and fall. And I think that they hear these things and they're like, oh, that's just like so-and-so, and they don't understand that this is the complete package. And not only the reason we're doing this, the reason Coreware is doing this with you guys is because this is the complete package immediately. This is the complete package at the register. This is not, hey, go home and read this, or, come sit in this classroom and read this. It's immediate, and I'm sure you guys offer training materials and whatnot for, range staff or store staff to be able to, familiarize themselves so that they can, obviously sell it. But, this is the complete package, guys. This is not, it really, we could have just added it and you would have never known that it was there. You know what I mean? So this is not going to change, the way you do business. All it is it's giving your customers an extra solution to purchase from you. And it helps you strengthen that relationship with your customer base. They see you care. Even if you're already doing something like this with another company, just look at what's offered for it. And if you have questions, reach out to myself or Plenty. And we'll be glad to, expound upon any, questions that you may have. But I'm telling you, I'm so excited about this. That's why I've been saying this. This is the most exciting thing in firearms retail in recent memory. And it has nothing to do with a gun. It has nothing to do with a laser or sight or anything like that. It's the fact that you can completely help your customer protect themselves at the register. I mean, you already care. You're selling the gun, right? You want them to be safe. Yeah. Why not just offer this as well and immediately cover your customer? They walk out the door. They have to defend themselves. No worries, So, Plenty. I know there's probably. Do you have any anecdotal or do you have any real life scenarios that you can share of, hey, here's how we've helped, or do you have any kind of, because I know that you've got a ton of knowledge, right, that you probably don't think you have. Because the first point you made blew my mind. Do you remember what that point was?
Oh, I've rattled through so much stuff. I think, what was that, red flag laws? Or I don't even remember which one we were talking about at the time.
No, it was I think it was being on the phone with an attorney then.
And it's attorney rather than a call center.
And your stuff is protected. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I don't think people think of that. I think they think of, it's sort of like, and if you've ever bought, and this is not insurance, people. This is, Firearms Legal Protection is not insurance. it smells like insurance and it walks like insurance and it sounds like insurance, but it's not insurance. But if you've ever had to work with an insurance company, man, you know the headaches, right?
Yeah.
Like you go out and get the cheapest product, right? Well, you're going to get the cheapest service. So you see right here what's in writing. You see what's offered, and all of these, just the included benefits are just mind-boggling. I wish I could convey to everyone out there watching how epic of a deal this is. It's not costing you anything. Maybe an extra few words. Hey, would you like to add some protection to that gun purchase? I mean, that's literally all you have to do. And I'm sure as we go along, Plenty, we'll probably, I think what would be a really good idea is maybe you and I work together and come up with like maybe a minute or 2-minute video explaining exactly what the premium plan is. Just really quick run through.
Yeah.
And we could actually have some sort of a QR code or something at the register that the customer could click, immediately watch that video, and get educated right there, make their mind up right there at the register. I think that would be pretty cool.
We've got some of those materials in the works right now, and that gets into not only like a lot of this stuff. It's not a physical product. It's not ammo. It's not an optic that you can look at. You can see the dimensions. It feels heavy, so it must be good. Not one of those things.
Right.
And a lot of times this gets very hypothetical and very heady. So we want to make sure that we're presenting materials and supplying that so that dealers can be as educated as possible. And a couple reactions from what you were just saying, like the ease of use, the integration here, that it costs you a couple words, costs you a little bit of knowledge, but it's as easy as saying, do you want fries with that? Except you don't have to stock the potatoes, the grease, or the salt. You don't have to keep track of any of that. You don't have to put it in the little paper cup.
Right.
It's an easy add-on to any firearms-related purchase, and it brings the average margin of whatever you're selling that day through the roof compared to a firearms purchase. So that helps a lot. It's immediately fulfilled by FLP on our end. There's no reordering inventory, waiting for it to get here, finding out that a manufacturer has a delay in something. It's on tap. It's ready to go. And you brought up earlier that it's not insurance, and I think that's an important distinction. There are a few states where kind of our resellers are regulated that way, but I'm often asked when I'm trying to describe, hey, what do you do? What does your company do that you work for? And then I start describing to people and they say, oh, that's like concealed carry insurance. But there are companies in the market who have specifically used those terminologies, not necessarily because that's what it is or what it has to be, but that's how they're regulated to sell it. There are some companies who are only set up to sell it as an insurance policy, where we went in an intentionally different route to sell it as a membership. And once you're a member, we can include other things that you can't sell as an insurance policy. We can do things that insurance only can't do. There are some advantages there. And even the phrase concealed carry insurance, there's a company out there that for a long time, you had to have your concealed carry permit to be a member of their program. And we recognize that, I have my license to carry. I think it's generally a good thing. But unlicensed carry is opening up more and more across the country. And there's some people who just don't want to do it. And I get that. There's some people who just say, I'm only going to ever have a firearm for self-defense in my home. Maybe I like hunting, right. I like competition shooting, but the only time self-defense is going to happen is with a firearm in my home. So I'm not going to get my carry permit.
Right.
This isn't to debate that or for us to take a stance. Our stance is if you are defending yourself with a legal weapon, we want to be able to protect you legally, and we want you to trust us doing that. So that's why it's not concealed carry insurance, because we don't really care about the permit, and it's not truly insurance. Other companies just are regulated to sell it in that way, so they've reinforced that language time and time and time again, whereas the way I describe what we do is hypothetically, should you ever have to defend yourself with a firearm, we provide everything you're going to need. Attorneys, incident scene cleanup, repay you for the fair market value of your firearm, expert witnesses, private investigators, expungement of record. It goes on and on, all those things I just talked about.
Right.
But it's a complete package. And so we want dealers through CoreStore to be selling the complete package and not just some insurance policy that, it's a little sketchy, maybe it'll cover what I need, maybe it won't. You can know that you went straight to the premium plan. You made a great sale on it. You made great margin on selling that, didn't have to stock it, and you went straight to offering your customers the best product ever rather than some kind of sleazy upsell, did I actually offer something good sort of thing.
Right.
You want to just get straight to the point and offer something great.
Yeah. Help you sleep better at night. Hey, so while I'm going to give Plenty a hypothetical, and while I do this, if any of you guys out there have any questions, shoot them in the chat, and as soon as Plenty's done answering this hypothetical, he'll address those. But my question is, Plenty, I'm at home, I can't find my gun. Someone kicks in my door. I see that they have a gun. All I see is a baseball bat, and I straight up go ham. Babe Ruth, defend myself. The guy doesn't make it. Am I covered?
As long as it's legal. If you're in some weird place where it's illegal to own a baseball bat, that's the only situation where it wouldn't be. But that's where, like I said, firearms is in our name. And so a lot of people just immediately think, oh, it's just for gun stuff. But the way we set this up, it's for any use of a weapon. The one time we don't cover something is if you go to your local sports bar and maybe your team's not doing so well, maybe the other team's not, and two guys get in a fist fight in the bar. We're not going to cover that. But if there's any time where something is so serious that you need to use a weapon to defend yourself, doesn't matter what the weapon is. You're defending yourself, and that's what we're protecting.
Awesome. So anything it's legal to own.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't beat that. So even if a customer's at your counter and they're purchasing a knife, you can offer this. If a customer's purchasing a box of ammo, you can offer this. If they're purchasing a target, you can offer this. It's not something that has to go with a gun. Just like...
Yeah, and we had an incident with one member, and I can't give all the details, but it was somebody who was out walking his dogs and basically got attacked and had pepper spray, OC spray with him, had to use that. Then there was a lawsuit that followed. We covered that. Doesn't matter if the person's injured, killed, whatever. It's legal protection for self-defense, and that's what we cover.
Because if you ever have to defend yourself, how crazy everything is, you could be completely in the right. They could have video of it, aerial, thermal, night vision, every frame by frame, see that you're in the right. You're still going to get sued, man, because it's just that insane out there.
Well, a lot of it is the attitude of, even if it's clear, there's still, if there's a chance of getting that civil suit and some aggressive attorney on the other side of this knows he's going to get a part of that, well, he's
right.
in. He's going to play, right?
Yeah, he's got boat payments to make, man.
Yeah, it's just like the attorneys who wait around at hospitals. Like and there are so many people who realize that once they realize, oh, this was with a gun. We don't like guns. We don't like gun owners. Let's get them. That is an unfortunate attitude that is real. That, or, hey, we realize this guy's got money. We can go after him here. That is very much a real thing.
Yeah.
So if you're prepared to protect yourself physically with a weapon, like if it's going to come to that, you absolutely need to be prepared to protect yourself legally and financially and emotionally.
So I'm assuming that your attorney network, they're all 2A supporters. They're not going to have a bias when somebody comes in. They're not going to say, well, why did you have a gun? It's not going to be anything like that, correct?
Right,
okay.
Right. Yeah, we've intentionally, that's a question we get. Can I pick my own attorney? Can I bring We've gone through and selected these guys very specifically because there may be one guy who's very helpful in an extreme risk protection order case because he's so fast at getting this stuff done, but he may not be the best guy for a self-defense trial. So that's why we have a network of all these different experts, so we can use them specifically based on what state it's in, what's their area of expertise. Is it criminal? Is it civil? There's so many different qualifiers, and our goal is to kind of be the concierge, I guess, in that. So when you have this incident, a lot of people, it's a comment we actually get a lot because there's one other competing service that brags about you can pick your own. Like, well, isn't that one more project that you have to do in like the worst situation possible? Like, why do that? Our goal is to basically say, yep, we have this network of people based on where this happened, what happened, when it happened. That's the guy you need.
Right.
We're sending him. That's our goal.
Right. Hey, so I'm looking through the chat right now because I want to address this stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I had somebody on my side that was going to have somebody at least tell you we'll get back to you, but I am completely flying blind here. and I've got so many screens to look at, and you don't put too many screens in front of me because I get confused.
Well, I see one right now that's, do customers get a welcome email? Can they call the attorney ASAP with questions? So yes, the second the transaction is run, you are a member and you have legal protection. And there is a confirmation email that goes out with that. And then there are following emails that tell you more about your benefits, more about other plans. But yes, that's the point at which it kicks in. So once you walk out the door, you're purchased. And again, that's better than saying, here's a flyer of something interesting. I really
Right.
hope that you take it and buy it later. And I hope you remember me and use my little promo code when you do.
Right.
We do some of that, but this shortcuts all of that by making it immediate. The second that card's run and the second they get that confirmation email, membership is ongoing from there.
Right. Hey, Liz had a question there. Plenty, if you could address that.
So if a member calls in with a question, will they be able to speak to an attorney expert in their state and know the laws of those state? Yes. So on the mobile app, we have a place where you can submit a question. You can also call in. Generally, the call in is for emergencies. Think of it as the 911. You don't call 911 and be like, so what kind of boots you guys wear? We have a place for those longer term questions, or maybe they're important but not urgent questions. And so you can submit that through the mobile app, or you can call in our main customer service line. And so we've got a legal team who can look up that stuff. Sometimes we'll know their answer right off the bat. But a lot of times these hypothetical situations, we have to kind of compare things. Sometimes there's some double checking or some state specific stuff so that we can look that up and get right back to you. So that's a service that we offer to all members.
So there's a question. There's another one. Can this be month to month, for example? If I have basic,
Yes, by default, it is month to month. So at any point, and that's part of us not being insurance. At insurance, there is a term of your policy, and then if you cancel earlier, there's a refund policy. So everything we do, more like Netflix or a gym membership in terms of it's month to month, but then the member can upgrade and pay annually, and it's kind of basically you pay for a whole year and you get a month free. So there is a pricing advantage to paying annually, but the core of the service and how it immediately starts is based on month to month. And at any point, if you want to, say you got married and all of a sudden you were on the individual premium plan, and then you have a new spouse in your life, and congratulations, and you need to move over to the family plan, you can just call in and we can switch you over to the family plan. So that can be changed month to month, as well as the payments are month to month.
Right. Let's see. I'm scrolling through here to see if we've missed anything. And you already covered how they get compensated. The money's right there. Doesn't leave their shop.
Yep. So it's not a payback program. It's you keep it immediately and then pass it on to us, and then we kind of take care of the service and running payments for the member ongoing, but you make the margin immediately.
And I don't know if I understand this question. Is this simply a service that we can offer our customers, or does the dealer receive a benefit for offering this coverage?
I'm not sure I understand it either. I mean, the dealer gets paid for selling it, but many of our dealers are members because they truly believe in the product. And if you're looking to get set up, we have been able to offer memberships to dealers as well. So we want to make sure that it's something that you're selling because you truly believe in, and that you would want it for yourself, and we can help that out.
Okay.
So if that's what the question was.
One-time deal for each month. The client keeps the account. Not sure if I understand that question, Chewy. Wait, one-time deal or for each month, the client keeps the account. Now, I think once it's set up there at the register, it's a recurring, right?
Yeah. So they could go in there and cancel. And this is something where we've set this up so that we don't want the member canceling. If most of our members have been with us for years, most of our members stay around for a long time, but there are some people who financially, they realize, they have to cut some expenses later, or they can't do it, or for some reason they move out of the country and they can't keep the service. everything is paid up front, so the dealer keeps that. Whether the member is a member for a year, 6 months, or cancels the very next month, we don't ever go back and take that payment away. You make all of the first month and all of the setup fee immediately right then and there. And then FLP services that account for the life of that account. So that's a difficult situation as the dealer, because obviously you want people to stay with us, but you don't really have necessarily control over that. And so we want to reward, basically, did you sell to this account? Did you do a great job of helping this person out? Yes, you did. We're going to pay you the full amount right now, rather than trying to like space that out over a time period or break it up monthly, anything like that. If that's
Right.
what the question is. I think it was probably related to that.
I think we had Thad said, I was asking about compensation for the dealer with each sale. So you did. I think you did cover that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see you
So,
cover 60% of this.
house.
Yeah, Jeff had a question. And Jeff, I'm going to go to a previous question that you asked. Do we have some materials that we can send them as far as like they can have at the register or anything like that?
Yeah, we do. We've got some in the works right now, and I think once this launches, we'll be working on some other stuff from general information perspective, but also some kind of like tips and tactics, sales strategy sort of stuff as well.
Okay. Jeff also says, I see you cover 60% of the states, 19 not being offered. What has been the history of new states, and what can we expect if we live in the 40% not covered?
It's a good question, and it kind of depends what map you're looking at the time. And some of them, like I mentioned, there are some states where they are the only way you can operate is insurance. And so that's not necessarily what we're talking about here, but we actually are in a lot of those states. It's just a slightly different product. Oh, he's pulling up from FAQs. Okay. Yeah, and then there are some recent announcements. We actually just added 5 new states 10 days ago. And then there are 2 more states that maybe I'm spilling the beans a little bit, but they're about to be brought online. So that was a big kind of thing for me, kind of working with our marketing team and working with our sales force and getting these integrations and things like this built, is we have what I believe is the best product. And it takes time to do that compared to some of these companies that offer a generic insurance plan. They're able to offer a generic insurance plan because they kind of go to the lowest common denominator of what's the minimum thing that we can do everywhere. And that was their sales strategy. Whereas ours is a little bit more specialized filings in all these different states, so we can offer truly the best option in every state. And so we have to build that up carefully in every single state, one at a time. But over the last year, we have added a whole lot of states. So we're in 32 as a prepaid service, and then I think about 8 or 9 others as specialized insurance lines.
All right, I think that's all the questions. And for those of you that stuck around, thank you. If you want to come back and watch a replay, I'm going to clean this up a little bit, maybe have some more information. And Plenty will, I'll be working with Plenty as well to make sure that those of you out there that want information at your register when this thing kicks off, that you'll have that as well. Because I think, obviously, I'm not going to make the purchase unless you're very, very good, laying it out verbally. If you're not, I'm going to need to see something. I'm going to need to read something and walk out the door with something. And that's another thing I saw. Somebody said, let me see 1 second. Who was
well, and
that?
I think we have some ideas for that in terms of that material, that signage. But we're also, again, this is all a partnership. We want to make sure that we're obviously Coreware and FLP work together pretty well, but we want to make sure that we're all seeing the needs of individual dealers as best as possible. So we're looking at making some signage. We've got some of that running right now, but tell us what you like. If it's something as simple as the that authorized Glock dealer sticker that so many people have in their store. If you like something like that, if it's signage at the register, if it's hey, ask me about whatever, posters, informational material. Like I said, we've got some of it planned, but this is a two-way street. I want to know what you guys like and what you find most helpful so that we can be there addressing your audience in a way that is comfortable, that works in your store, and that's not just more junk on your counter.
Right. Yeah, and depending on where you're watching this, you can send those questions. You can just post them in the description. I'm sorry, in the comments of this video, because I'm sure it's going to be on YouTube. Or I might magically put our email addresses down below here that should appear right now. And then you can, send any questions, suggestions, anything that would make your life better selling this product in your shop. Plenty. This is really exciting, man. I know I seem to be coming down from a high right now because this is a very exciting product. It's a very exciting service. I don't know what to call it. What do you call it? A service, solution, product?
And that's where it depends on the state a little bit. It's a plan. It's a membership.
Maybe we just,
it's a complete system.
Yeah. Maybe we come up with a brand new word. So, I'm just joking. Unless you guys have a brand new word we can use for this. But yeah, I think that's going to cover it. I don't think I've got anything else. Plenty. If you have anything else, please by all means throw it out there.
No, I think we covered a lot of this in a lot of detail, and I think what's just so exciting is we've been building something pretty cool on our end. Coreware has been building something way cool on their end, and then when we can join forces, make that powerful for us, but then make that even more powerful for you, the dealer, the retailer. That's exciting because that's the bit of innovation that hasn't happened in this industry previously. So when two partners like this can team up and then not only make a great product, but just find better ways to deliver it to the market, that's what gets me so excited to see this go into market and see you guys winning.
This is really exciting. And I know you guys I say it over and over again, but I don't think people take me serious. I am not BSing here. When you see me excited about something, I'm truly excited. This is the most epic thing to happen in the firearms retail in a long time. And it has nothing to do with a gun, like a tangible product, which it may be hard to sell, but I think the insanity of the world should sell this for you because people see the Rittenhouse thing, man, when they see that and it's like, oh my gosh, you see all this stuff, all this evidence laid out before you, and you can still have, a doubt that he didn't defend himself, slow motion shots, the gun pointing at his head, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what the heck? So I think the insanity of the world's going to do a really good job selling this, but I think we need to probably plan something in the future, Plenty, maybe once everything's kind of settled. And maybe we can get one of our customers. So if you guys out there, if you're early adopters, maybe get you on with us and have a little conversation on how are you doing this and how are you succeeding with this, offering right there at the register. To me, it's stupidly simple, click, and your customers will be able to do this on, your website with a click. So this is really exciting, man.
And I think this is long-term, it's going to be a differentiator between dealers. Everywhere has 9mm. Everywhere has 5.56. Every gun shop in the country can sell me some little foam earplugs. But who can sell me something that prepares for the bigger picture, that offers me something more? It's going to be truly the shops that can and cannot, and that's going to be a big dividing line between just retail and a true experience shop that empowers customers. And I think that's why I'm excited about this.
I am too, man. I think you did a great job closing it out there. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have this out probably in the next 2 or 3 days. Once I clean everything up and make sure Ezra sounds okay. And then I'll release this, let you guys know. If you want to see anything else in regards to FLP, please let us know. Plenty and I've got a really good rapport going, so we don't mind getting on here and talking to you guys and educating. And it's going to be really good, man. Hey, and also if you guys are going to SHOT out there, you'll probably see Plenty and myself in the same geographical location, which I don't know, Plenty. I don't know if this is going to tear the universe apart, having so much awesomeness that close together, but hey, you never can tell. You guys come out to Vegas and check it out.
All
Thanks.
right.
Thanks, Plenty. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
All right. Bye, everybody.